Morning. How sick is this place? Just got here and I think I'll see you up there. Hope you're having a good day. I'm only just getting started. This is one of the coolest trails I've ever seen. It's actually pretty tough in the sense of like the footing isn't necessarily paved like it is in Carefree, but that's quite all right because I got a balance beam. Anyways, today is an active recovery day, hence the hiking. And then I'm gonna go home and walk through my mobility routine. Ooh, check this out. Nice little bench, vantage point. Bam. Fuck. This place is sick. That's Phoenix over there. Anyways, see you at the top. Dude, I freaking love hiking. I can't believe how cool this place is. And I'm not even to the top. See you there. This is definitely the coolest hike I've ever taken. 0.7 to the top. So 1.5 total. This is as high as I could go. I can't wait to come back. This is literally the coolest hike I've ever taken in my life. There's so many trees and cactuses, or cacti, and the plants are green, and it was great. And now it's time to go home and walk you through how I do my mobility. See you there. Okie dokie, time to do some mobility. I'm gonna do just kind of like a full body stretch, nothing too crazy. The way I like to start is from the ground up, and from the ground up I mean in terms of like joints. So I'll go ankle, knee, hip, back, and then shoulders. So to start at the ankle, this position is called seiza, and you basically just put your feet like this, and make sure your ankles are this way and not this way. Tuck your toes this way, your big toes will be together. And then you just sit like this. This gets a nice stretch in the front of your shins. And if you want more of a stretch, you can lift your knee up. Kind of go one at a time. Might pop your toe knuckles while you're while you're lifting. That's okay. Okay. And then to get the back of the ankle, we'll tuck our toes. Make sure you tuck all your toes and get the full stretch in the back of your feet. And then from there you'll pop up into downward dog and walk it out from here. Get a nice stretch through the calf. Okay. So that's the ankle. For knee, we're gonna do a lunge, and this also gets a little bit of hip as well. So we'll get in a lunge, nice and forward, like this. There we go. Okay. And we'll hang on here. In the same way you were sitting in seiza, where your heel was facing that way and not in like this. Have your foot pointed in that direction. And you're just gonna lean forward in here. And while you're here, keep your torso upright. There's a time and a place to lean, and we'll lean in a sec. But for now, we're gonna keep our torso upright. And squeeze our glute, so that we get a big stretch in our hip flexor. We'll go ahead and switch. Nice stretch through the glute. Squeezing this glute, getting a good stretch in the hip flexor. Breathing slow and steady. So now we're going to rotate, and when we rotate, we're going to plant our hand, wrist below our shoulder, reach up and through, up and through, up and through. And then go ahead and switch. Up and through, and through. Okay. And then now, I like to kind of just sit in a squat. And when I'm down here, you want to make sure, let me actually face this way. You want to make sure your toes are spread out on the ground. I hope the camera's picking it up. But my toes are spread throughout the ground. And the reason you want your toes to be spread throughout the ground is because it gives you more balance. Because if you want to hop into a pistol squat, you want to give, it's like in a handstand. It'd be way harder to balance if your hands were like this versus if you had this much surface area. It's the same thing with your feet. So if you want a pistol squat, literally don't go from here to there. And once your foot is planted, that is what gives you the balance to be able to do a pistol squat. So anyways, we're sitting in a squat. And when we're down here, we want all our toes connected with the ground. One exercise I like to do that's pretty challenging is I'll plant my toes and then I'll lift up my middle three while keeping my big toe and pinky toes planted. So like that, 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 that. It's pretty tough. Your feet might cramp, and that's okay. You're using muscles that don't usually get used. But being able to do that in the bottom of a squat, so there's that, 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 that. The reason I like to do this is because it teaches you how to become aware of your feet and your toes in the bottom of a squat, which is the hardest place to do it. So 2 at a time, 1 at a time, and then you can also just kind of wiggle back and forth. Take the knees out, kind of twist around a little bit. So this is a squat with your heels on the ground, but another way you can squat is if you put your feet like a fist width apart and you come up on your toes. Bam. This is nature's chair. I mean, same with having your heels on the ground, but this one is typically a little bit less demanding. And you just get to balance on your feet. Good stretch through the quads. Another one too, that's good if you come down from that. So if you literally go from here down into the lunge and you tuck the toes into seiza and you come up and squeeze the glutes, you'll get a nice deep stretch through the quads. And back down. Let's see. Ooh, let's get hips. So now, actually, I'm gonna stop it and then start it again. Okay. Hips. For hips, actually, one that I really have been liking doing is if you start with your feet like this and a butterfly for the most part. And then go to one side and plant your foot. You'll get a good stretch through the outside of your hip. And then from there, if you reach over and lean down, you'll get a good stretch. Let me turn this way. Down in here. I like to be able to get my elbow to the ground. Nice stretch through the foot. Even here, being able to maintain connection with the feet. And then from there, go ahead and flop. Starting position. Reach over. I'm a little bit tighter on this side. And back through. And rotate. And back through. There we go. Oh, that's tough. The toes. My left toes are not as good as wiggling as my right toes. I'm still kind of doing it though. There we go. Oh, man. This just loosens up the hips. And then even too from here, you can go into a hug. Other side. Big hug. And then for spine, we can start on our side, everything connected with the ground, feet to the side. And we'll pull this way. Keep everything connected with the ground if you can. By connected with the ground, I mean your upper body, so when you go, and popping is okay sometimes. It feels good. Keeping your back flush with the ground, and just kind of flip-flopping back and forth. Ooh, another good one too if you're down here, is if you tuck the feet together, and then kind of walk yourself together. You can get a really nice stretch in your inner thighs. And just kind of hang out here. And actively pull your knees towards the ground. Pull that stretch into your inner thighs. Wiggle around a little bit. And then, so we got the outside of the hips. To get the inside of the hips, this is just frog. So you're gonna start on all fours and then just slowly slide the knees out. And when you're here, ideally, you want a 90-degree angle at your ankle, knee, and hip. And then once you're here, try and activate your glutes to try and pull your knees off of the ground. You're not going to be able to, but you just want your glutes to be activated. And then once you're there, let me get to the side. Once you get down here onto your forearms, you can slide back and forth. This is one of my favorite hip stretches. And then you can come up. Nice and easy. And then from here, we can literally just lay flat. Extend our arm out. And push ourselves up. Get a nice stretch in the chest and bicep. And you can even, for a little bonus, plant the foot. And swap. Same thing. Push yourself up. Bonus if you get the foot back. Good stretch for the triceps and lats. It's pretty subtle, but if you pick your torso up while your elbows are out extended in front of you like this, not only is it good to like engage your core, but you'll get a good lat stretch and tricep stretch. And then to work on the external rotators at the shoulder, we can lie down. We're not reaching straight up and we're not reaching straight out. We're going to be at about a 45-degree angle. We're going to start at the top and we'll pick our legs up. The reason we're going to pick our legs up is because we don't want our back to be arched off the ground. You want to close that gap by activating your core. And by holding that core engagement, you're then going to make sure that your arms, you're going to push your arms into the ground and pull them down. Almost like you're going to tuck your elbows into your back pockets if you had back pockets. Pull down as far as you can. Keep the hands connected with the ground. Push back up. Back down. Really pull. Make sure everything is connected with the ground. Don't let your back ground like this. Keep it connected. Keep those hands pushed into the ground. Pull back up. The back of your shoulders and all the muscles behind your shoulder blades should be on fire if you're doing these correctly. So keep everything there. Pull down. Good. Big pull. Keep everything connected with the ground. And back up. And then even there, while you're down there, you can rotate forward and back and forward and back and forward and back. And a good stretch if you want to work on internal rotation is if you clasp your hands behind your back, kind of knuckles together, and then lean forward and fold your shoulders forward. You'll get a really good stretch. Or at least I do. I need to work on my shoulder mobility, so this is all subjective. Yeah, that's about it for the main stuff. The wrists and hands are kind of their own video in and of itself. So I'll get to that another time. Because I'm also still learning what works for me. But as far as everything else goes, that's typically how I measure my sense of mobility. Well, really that was flexibility. This was more passive than active. But yeah, in terms of like just being able to get into positions, that's kind of what I do to check myself. I hope this helped, and if you have any other suggestions or things you want to see, let me know. And thanks for watching. Hope you had a good day. See you tomorrow.